Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. There was another tragic mass shooting in Lakeland, Florida. And in this incident, 4 people wound up losing their lives when the suspect, Brian Riley, who was 33 years old, allegedly went on a shooting rampage at 4:30 in the morning in 2 separate houses on a property. And after he went on this shooting rampage in these 2 separate homes, allegedly, your Brian Riley wound up taking the lives of 4 people, including an infant, and severely wounding an 11-year-old girl who had been shot multiple times. Now, the police see this mass shooting in Lakeland, Florida as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the behavior of your Brian Riley that he is alleged to have participated in, it fits right in line with the pattern and profile I talk about regarding men in crisis in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that your Brian Riley was a man in crisis because after doing tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan, he was dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. And this post-traumatic stress disorder he was dealing with led to his mental health deteriorating, and his mental health had deteriorated to the point where he was starting to have serious delusions and not being able to see reality. Now, according to reports, your Riley in North Lakeland saw a man mowing a lawn and said he needed to speak with him, to the man, about his daughter because God warned him he was going to commit suicide. Now, this was a sign that he was having serious mental health issues, and this is one of the problems we have with men here in America. Most people do not take the suffering of men here in America seriously and encourage them to go out here and get the mental health counseling that they need to deal with the issues they are having. Because Mr. Riley was dealing with this post-traumatic stress disorder after serving our country, and unfortunately he wasn't able to get the service that he needed from his country after going out here and doing his duty as a soldier in Iraq and Afghanistan. And because nobody gave him the help and support, he wound up having his mental health deteriorating, and he wound up going out here and participating in this extreme act of violence and winding up taking the lives of all of these innocent people. And sadly, again, because we don't take mental health seriously for our veterans and get them the help that they need, they wind up going out here and doing harm that they probably would not have done had we gotten them the counseling and the care that they should be receiving. Because if somebody is serving our country, then we need to step up and serve them. Because I find it extremely egregious that this man was left to become a man in crisis after he made all of these great efforts to, again, go out here and serve our country. And instead of us giving him the service he needed to go out here and live a life after his term in the military, we just, here in America, abandoned this man, and then he wound up going out here and harming other people. But this whole case, again, puts us on another aspect of America's man crisis. The man crisis going on with our military soldiers who are out here. And these men, again, a lot of times they have issues going on for years that make them ticking time bombs. Like his girlfriend had alleged that he had the PTSD, and while he was depressed, he was never violent. But many people don't understand that when a person is dealing with mental health issues like depression and anxiety, many people who have these issues, they may never get to that point of getting to become violent, but eventually this could happen because sometimes the traumas that they're dealing with, the flashbacks and the other traumatic memories, they just get you to a point where you just wind up falling apart. And I believe what happened to this man was he reached a point where his issues were getting worse, and while it didn't look like it on the surface, this is where he wound up in a situation where he thought he was doing the work of God because he thought he could speak directly to God, but it really was him becoming more and more delusional because God would never tell somebody to go out here and kill someone, nor would he be out here telling people to go out here and do harm to someone. And the whole thing is that this guy, he has, again, serious issues that nobody really wanted to, they could not really see because you have to be a mental health professional or somebody who understands the pattern and profile that of people who are of men in crisis to understand the troubles that these men are having in order to identify the issues that this man was having. And again, as somebody who has studied the whole pattern and profile regarding men in crisis, this story is a tragic example of what happens when a soldier who has served his country just can't get the service he needs to be able to deal with his issues. Because I believe if this man had been given the mental health counseling and the support from his family as he went to get his mental health counseling, maybe possibly we could have seen all of these people's lives been saved, and it could have again kept this man from winding up from going to be an honorably discharged soldier to suffering the ultimate dishonor of being put inside of our criminal justice system and winding up on a road to a final fate of life in prison, because that's not the way our soldiers should be treated. I mean, I think about our soldiers who have, again, served our country, and what happened to this man just shows me the disservice our government does by not acknowledging the man crisis in this country, because it is a great disservice to our soldiers to not acknowledge this crisis going on with our men so that they can go out here and get that help that they need so that they can continue going on after serving their country to serve their communities as men who are out here looking to do what they need to do. But the sad part is this man, he just fell through the cracks, and that's what happens to many men in crisis. Many people, they don't identify what's going on with these men until too late, and by that time, that's when we have a great tragedy that winds up costing other people their lives because we took for granted that these men are just here and not really thinking about what they need to go out here and get the help that they need. And again, this is a case where I can't call this guy a beta male, but he was a man in crisis, and he was a man who deserved help, and he deserved better than how he was treated by his country. Now, if you want to learn more about men in crisis and what causes them to wind up participating in a spectrum of violent behaviors, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also pick up The Man Crisis on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And I wrote this book to help many men out here who were struggling as related to navigating the world and help them overcome their issues. And I'm hoping that this book will help more men be able to overcome this man crisis and find a path to a more productive life. Now, if you want to see me do more men's issues videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available for pre-order on Kindle. Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Pre-order your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace on Kindle today.